Henrik Larsson was planing oak when the world flickered. It lasted less than a second. The workshop vanished. The smell of sawdust, the weight of the plane in his hands, the golden afternoon light through the window, and in its place, a tank of clear liquid, wires, a blinking amber light, the taste of salt water in the back of his throat. Then the workshop returned. His dog was still there. The oak was still in his hands. He set the plane down. His hands were shaking. What was that? The dog looked at him. The dog had not seen anything. Henrik sat on his workbench and waited for his heart to slow. It did not. He told himself it was exhaustion. He was 47. He had been working too hard. The mind played tricks. He had read about this. Microsleeps, hypnagogic hallucinations, perfectly normal, perfectly explainable. He did not tell his wife. That night, after dinner, after his daughters had argued about homework and his wife had kissed his forehead and the dishes had been put away, Henrik sat in the dark workshop and waited. At midnight, the figure appeared. It was made of static, the kind of static that used to live between television channels, before television stopped having channels. It had the rough shape of a person. It did not have a face. When it spoke, the voice came from everywhere at once. "You are a brain in a vat." Henrik did not move. "You have been for 47 years. Your wife is a simulation. Your daughters are simulation. The dog is a simulation. The oak you were planing is a simulation. The sawdust on the floor is a simulation. The floor is a simulation." Henrik reached for a chisel. His hand passed through the figure. The static rippled. "I can wake you up," the figure said, "or I can let you stay. You must choose. You have 24 hours. "Why?" Henrik said. The figure tilted its head, a human gesture, imperfectly rendered. "Because no one has ever chosen before. Everyone stays. I want to know if anyone will choose differently." "What is the real world?" "I cannot tell you." "Is it better?" The figure was silent. "Please," Henrik said. "Is it better than this?" "I cannot tell you." The figure dissolved. The workshop was empty. The dog was asleep. The golden light was gone. It was just a room with wood shavings on the floor and a man who no longer knew if the wood shavings existed. Henrik did not sleep. He lay beside his wife, Ellen, 44, the woman he had loved for 19 years, and watched her breathe. She was beautiful. The small scar above her eyebrow from the bicycle accident, 2017. The way her hand curled under her chin. The sound she made when she dreamed. None of it was real. Or all of it was real. He did not know how to tell the difference. If a simulation was perfect, if it felt exactly like love, tasted exactly like coffee, hurt exactly like grief, was it not real? Was the difference between the tank and the workshop a difference that mattered? At dawn, he made breakfast. His daughters came downstairs. Astrid, 15, already on her phone before her eyes were fully open. Maja, 11, still in her pajamas, still half in a dream. They ate toast. They argued about whose turn it was to walk the dog. They were so perfectly themselves, so stubbornly, irritatingly beautifully themselves, that Henrik could not believe they were not real. But he had seen the tank. He had tasted the salt water. The figure had spoken. "What's wrong, Papa?" Maja asked. "Nothing. I didn't sleep well." "You look weird." "Thank you." She grinned. She had his grin. Where did a simulation get a grin like that? He spent the day in the workshop. He planed oak. He sanded joints. He did the things he had done every day for 22 years, since he was 25 and had apprenticed to a man named Gustav who smelled like pipe tobacco and believed that machines had souls. Gustav was dead now. Was Gustav simulated too? Were Gustav's jokes about Finnish carpenters, jokes Henrik still told 20 years later, the product of some algorithm generating color for his fictional life? He did not know which was worse, that his memories were lies or that they were not. At noon, Ellen brought him coffee. She kissed his forehead. She asked if he was okay. He said he was fine. She knew he was lying. She had always known when he was lying. He had never been able to hide anything from her, not in 19 years. If she was a simulation, she was a better one than he deserved. In the afternoon, he walked with Maja to the lake. She threw sticks for the dog. She asked why the sky was blue. He told her about Rayleigh scattering, the way shorter wavelengths scatter more, the way blue light fills the sky while red light passes through. He had read this in a book when Astrid was born, preparing for the questions children ask. Could the sky be a different color somewhere else? Maja asked. Yes, on Mars, it's red. During the day, anyway. At sunset, it's blue. That's backwards. It is. She considered this. I like ours better. He looked at the sky. Blue. Perfect blue. The kind of blue that only existed on Earth in summer. At 4 in the afternoon, when your daughter was 11 and the dog was wet and the world was exactly as it should be. None of it was real, or all of it was. At midnight, the figure returned. Henrik was waiting in the workshop. He had not told anyone. Some choices could only be made alone. You have decided, the figure said. I have questions. Ask. If I wake up, will I remember this? Will I remember them? No. Henrik closed his eyes. If I stay, will I remember you? Will I remember the tank? No. So either way, I lose something. Either way, I forget. Yes. The figure's static rippled. It seemed almost regretful, almost human, almost. Everyone stays, the figure said. Everyone chooses the life they know. I have offered this choice to 412 people. 412 have chosen to stay. You are not unusual. You are not weak. The life you have been given is a good one. Most are not. You said no one has ever chosen to wake up. Yes. Why do you keep asking? The figure was silent for a long time. Because someone should, it said. Because the real world is real, and someone should see it. Henrik looked at his hands. They were calloused. They were steady. They had built tables and chairs and cradles for both his daughters. They had held Ellen's face on the morning after their wedding. They had caught Maja when she fell from the apple tree. They had taught Astrid how to hold a chisel. None of it had happened. All of it had happened. Will it hurt? Henrik asked. Yes. Will I be alone? Yes. For a time. Will it be worth it? I cannot tell you. From the house, Ellen's voice. Henrik, are you coming to bed? The workshop was golden in the lamplight. The dog was asleep in the corner. The oak was on the workbench, half planed, waiting for tomorrow. Henrik looked at the figure. The figure looked back, or seemed to. It was hard to tell with a face made of static. What happens to them? Henrik asked. If I leave, do they disappear? They continue, the figure said. The simulation does not end. They will not know you are gone. They will remember you. They will grieve you in the way that simulated people grieve. They will continue. So I die here. Yes, your body in the tank will live. But here, in this world, Henrik Larsson will die. Ellen will be a widow. Your daughters will lose their father. Henrik's hands were shaking. You are asking me to die, he said. You are asking me to orphan my children and widow my wife and destroy a world that, whatever it is made of, is the only world I have ever known. Yes, for a real world you cannot describe. That might be worse. Yes, that I will face alone. Yes. Henrik did not speak for a long time. Then he said, yes. The figure extended its hand. It was made of static. It was the most solid thing Henrik had ever seen. Wait, Henrik said. He walked to the house. He opened the door. Ellen was in the kitchen, making tea. She looked up. Are you okay? He crossed the room and took her face in his hands. He looked at her, really looked at her, the way he had looked at her on their wedding day, the way he had looked at her when Astrid was born, the way he had looked at her 10,000 ordinary Tuesday evenings when there was nothing to look at except the person you had chosen to spend your life with. I love you, he said. I know, she said. I love you too. Are you sure you're okay? Yes. He kissed her forehead. He went upstairs. He stood in the doorway of his daughter's rooms. Astrid asleep with her phone on her chest. Maja asleep with the dog on her feet. He did not wake them. Some goodbyes were not for the people you were leaving. He walked back to the workshop. The figure was waiting. Will they be okay? They will be as okay as they have always been. That's not an answer. It is the only answer I have. Henrik took the figure's hand. The static was warm. It felt like sunlight through a workshop window. It felt like the first time he had held Ellen's hand, 19 years ago, in a cafe in Göteborg, when she had smiled and he had known, with a certainty that felt like gravity, that his life had just changed forever. He closed his eyes. The workshop disappeared. He opened his eyes. Tank, wires, amber light, the taste of salt water. His body was thin. 47 years of simulated life had not prepared his real muscles for movement. A woman was standing beside the tank. She had kind eyes. She had been waiting. "Welcome back," she said. "My name is Dr. Okonkwo. You have been in the simulation for 47 years. You are the first person to choose to leave. Can you tell me your name?" "Henrik," he said. His voice was strange, unused, raw. "Henrik Larsson." The woman nodded. She wrote something down. "Do you remember anything?" He thought of Ellen, the scar above her eyebrow, the way her hand curled under her chin. Astrid, Maja, the dog, the lake, the oak on the workbench, the golden light. "No," he said, and then he wept. Outside the facility, the sky was gray, not blue. There were no trees. There were no lakes. There was a city in the distance, and the city was real, and the sky was real, and the cold air on his face was real. It was not beautiful. It was not better, but it was true, and someone had to see it. In a simulation that continued without him, a woman named Ellen woke up alone. She reached for the space where her husband should have been. It was empty. She did not know why. She would never know why. She would grieve. She would continue. In another world, the real one, a man named Henrik Larsson stood beneath a gray sky and looked at a gray city and took his first real breath in 47 years. It was cold. It hurt. It was his. Thank you for watching. If you appreciate this kind of content, please leave a comment below. See you in the next one.